I guess. Um, oh goodness. Did you guys hear anything I was saying? You didn't, did you? No, probably not. Probably not a word. No, Shan's shaking her head no. Oh my God. Ah. So what I was saying was we'll put the kiddos back up. I was thanking you all for being here. So we won't go through that all again because I was saying some names but I put all your names up. If I missed anybody, I'm sorry. Thank you all. Thank you all for being here. Um, and I talked about Shan and I said the name of her channel. True Tea Time on True Crime with Shananigans. And I was saying I hope it didn't get the and the with mixed up. Um and I will put Lily and Jack back up, and we'll go over that again. So, Lily Sullivan, 6 years old. Now, Lily will be turning 7 this month, and I believe it's March 22nd. I don't have my info with me right now, my notes, but I have that stuck in my head for a reason, and I believe it is the 22nd, but I'll talk with Shan when she comes on, or you guys correct me in the chat. And Jack Sullivan, 4 years old. Now, Jack turned 5 in October, but we always go with the date that the individual went missing. Last seen May 1st, according to RCMP, May 1st, 2025. Reported missing May 2nd, 2025. Garlic Road, Lansdowne, Nova Scotia, and there is a $150,000 reward. And this is who we are talking about today, Lily and Jack Sullivan. And we have some updates in the case. Um, I mean, well, yeah, you could call them updates. Some polygraphs that were taken, a news article that's out, an interview with Haley Ferdinand, who is the aunt. She is the stepsister of Malaya Brooks Murray, who is the mother of Lily and Jack Sullivan. Now I'll go to where we left off. Let's welcome Shan. Hi, Shan. You probably sent me a message telling me because I heard my phone going bing, bing.
I was kind of no, I didn't see them though.
My goodness. Yeah. Everything
Good to
okay?
see you.
Ah, oh my goodness. Um, and the funny thing is, when I was doing them for a while, the lives, I was catching on how to do that. Actually, I had it written down because of my memory, because anything new, I'm just going to mess it up. That's a definite. So I had exactly word for word, like line for line, what to do so I didn't mess it up. So I'm gonna have to get that back up here. Uh, so I hope everything's going well. I hope you're having a grand day. Um, and yeah, I was saying we'll have to get into this because I know you have a schedule and we're gonna have some chit chat about it, of course. So did I say the name of your channel correctly?
You sure did. You sure did.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. I'm always worried that I'm gonna mix up the on and the with. And then I
No,
try to
that's
make
okay.
sense of it in my head, and I'm like, "Okay, I think I said it the right way."
Just don't try to say it a few times fast. You'll be fine.
Yeah, yeah, that's a mouthful to say fast, isn't it?
Yeah. I may
Yeah.
shorten it one day, but I do like tea time. So
Yes,
tea
yes.
time is my favorite.
Yeah. Yes, I like the tea time too. When I was coming up with my name, I actually that I had that on the list. Yeah.
Oh, see?
Yeah.
That's why we get along so well.
Yep, I had that on the list, but it didn't make the cut.
Well, thanks
But
because I got it.
there you go, right? There you
Yeah.
go. Uh, I knew there was a reason why. Um, yeah.
Full
So,
house today.
yeah, isn't that nice?
Yes.
Um, there's some helicopter mama, $5, and knitted carpon, carpon. I'm always I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, is a member for 2 months, and I'm not sure. I can't somebody told me how to figure out who that's for, which chat, but now I can't remember how to do that,
Think
so
I'm paperclip
a
because
paper clip.
Daphne's is in mine, and she's got a paperclip next to her.
Where do you see the paper clip?
Under comments on the right side, on the comments section, over the pictures of the people that are commenting,
Oh, I
there's
see
like
it.
a
Yeah, yep,
paperclip.
yep, yep. I see it now. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
up in the right hand of the circle of the picture. Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so if it's a paper clip, that means it's yours?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're for you. You probably already
Yes.
figured
So
that out.
thank you, Helicopter Grandma, and thank you, Knitted Carpin, for being a member for 2 months.
Yeah. Um, oh, hi, Daphne. Daphne's here as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And thanks to everybody else who also come in. Thank you. Thank you. Whether you're in my chat or you're in Daphne's or Shan's, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. There's some
Does
new
not
names in
matter.
here as well that I don't recognize. So welcome into everyone.
Yeah. Um, yep. Just putting up some new names I'm seeing coming in there. The chat's going fast. I'm trying to click on names that I haven't clicked on yet, but it's going so fast, it's just clicking on a different name, so I'm giving up.
Yeah.
Um,
Actually, I was going to say, Daphne, if you don't mind, do you mind putting on slow mode? Because I actually don't know how to do it. And somebody was asking me
I
the
don't know
other
either.
day. And then can you tell me how to do it after after the live?
I don't
Thanks.
know how to I'm pretty sure, somebody helped me one time. It was either Daphne or Ginger, but I can't remember. I can't remember. Um, probably have to do it actually from, uh YouTube maybe? I don't know. My gosh, YouTube and, StreamYard were giving me trouble today. Man, I was ready to throw the laptop. I mean, it's my brand new one though, so I didn't do it, you know. But I wanted to. So, shall we get into this, or do you want any discussion beforehand, or do you wanna just get into it and read it, discuss any thoughts as we're going along, or
Well, I think maybe start with the video for it,
Sure,
then have a chat, and then read the article. I think um, I think things are starting to unravel a bit on the narrative front. That's my personal opinion.
I
With the
agree.
second round
I
of
agree.
polygraphs, I feel this was a way to um, discredit some of the
Yes, I
things that are
agree.
being discussed, but that's my
Yeah, and
personal opinion.
that I agree because that will lead to a much deeper discussion,
Mhm.
indeed, you know,
Yes. Yes.
with the BS out of it. Yeah,
Oh,
I agree, my
the
friend.
BS meter in this case is high.
I
Yes.
know, eh? It's
Yes.
mega, mega.
Yes. It is.
Yeah.
And it starts with this blanket.
Yes, the blanket and the for me was always important. That's why I kept talking and talking and talking about and the boot too, and I'm still got a big question mark with the whole boot thing too. Um, yeah, but the whole
Yeah.
blanket thing because I never ever ever believed it was pulled out of the garbage. When
No.
when Cheryl had said that she was told that the piece that was found in the tree was on the back doorstep, I always believed that. And this whole thing that Daniel was telling that, oh, big hole punch through the bag, blah blah. It was all BS to me. And I thought, okay, to me, it was BS. In my opinion, it was. Now we know it is because he actually finally admitted to Charmaine that, yeah, it was on the back doorstep
Mhm.
um, after his big spiel about it. And that tells you something. When you think back to him on the DT show, and
Mm.
all the time and energy and the whole spin and uh the dramatics of the whole fist size hole punch through the bag and blah 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 blah. And then in the end none of it was true. That was
Yeah,
actually
and
hanging on the back doorstep.
there was an
That tells you
entire
something.
yeah, there was an entire hour dedicated to the color of the damn bag in the garbage. So,
Yep,
it's been
yep,
painful at times, I will say.
yep. And some stuff I would just choose to I'm just like, I'm not even getting into the garbage bag discussion because guess what? That doesn't matter. What
No.
matters is what Cheryl said and what the truth of it is. Because if it
Mhm.
was on the back doorstep, why is he telling this whole dramatic story about it being in a garbage bag and blah, 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 blah? And probably, in my opinion, because he's the one who grabbed it off the back doorstep, right? In my opinion, that's where
Yeah,
my thoughts were going, right?
yeah.
And so finally, we found out that, yeah, it was on the back doorstep. I don't know how Charmaine got him to admit that, but she
Well,
did.
I think it was just another deflection technique, another way to, you know, paint others as responsible for whatever happened to Jack and Lily. And it's been like a misinformation campaign since the beginning, really. Um,
Right.
and it's been a real struggle to differentiate what's truth and what's not when there are so many people saying different things.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think you're right when you say that because I believe it had something to do with him, at the time, whatever conversation was going on, then he was trying to paint it as that Cheryl grabbed it off the back doorstep and she was the one
Mhm.
that must have planted it or something. And then that's how the truth
Yeah,
come out that it was
it
actually on
was
the back
Haley.
doorstep.
The first finger was pointed at Haley.
Haley.
Yeah. And well, we now know she's done a lie detector test and passed.
Yeah.
And all the questions were regarding the blanket. Um,
Yes,
I,
worded in different ways.
yeah. And I mean, to me, she appears truthful. And
Yeah.
I believe Hayden also had the same test with the same questions and passed.
Yeah.
And uh, I've heard there's others. Malaya admitted that she did a second polygraph and passed.
And past. Yeah.
And we have Daniel, who allegedly did another polygraph and is making no comment now. So
Yes.
the silence has changed.
Oh boy, has
He's
it ever.
he's now being quiet, and Malaya's family are speaking up.
And this is the way it should have been. And I always said, when Daniel stops talking, Malaya will probably start talking more
Yeah.
because if someone feels threatened by somebody and they're taking complete control of a situation and constantly putting themselves out there and showing up at vigils and because that's how I was seeing that was more of a to I don't know if I should use the word threat, but
Mhm.
just to make no different than him coming up behind her in the parking lot and throwing something in the trunk, like, "I will be everywhere," right?
Absolutely.
Um,
I agree with that.
yeah, and until that stops, right, um, you probably weren't gonna hear much from her, right? And I hope, we start hearing more and more as she can, as she mentally can and um, gradually now that he's finally like out of the picture of all of that,
Mhm.
which he should never have been anyways. It was just a tactic in my opinion. Um, yeah.
Um, yeah, Ginger's mom says intimidation tactics, and I did have
Absolutely.
Yeah, I had this discussion with someone earlier that if you were a victim, and I'm just saying this in a general sense here, if you were a victim of domestic violence, or sexual assault, or um, confinement, or any of those types of behaviors, coercive control over a number of years, and you finally get out of a situation like that, I believe the last thing you would want to do is face them unnecessarily. But
Yeah.
that's, you know, it would be a triggering situation, especially if you
Yeah.
believed that, that that person may have been responsible for the disappearance or more of your children.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. All right. Let us go over to this and I'll hit play. And so it's almost 3 minutes, guys. It's 2:57. Okay. If you have any issues hearing it, let me know in the chat. I'll be keeping an eye and I'll fix it up for you.
Discovered tattered and intertwined in a tree, this pink blanket is one of the only pieces of physical evidence in the mysterious disappearance of Jack and Lily Sullivan. And now it's the subject of a second round of police polygraph examinations.
It was in an odd spot, an odd position. It was just drooped over a branch on a thin tree. It was nothing that, it definitely wasn't stuck in there. It was just there.
Haley Ferdinand was one of the people who came upon the piece of Lily's blanket off Lansdowne Station Road on May 2nd, 2025. She's the stepsister of the children's mother. It was the first day of the search as crews scoured the woods for Lily and Jack. Since then, family members on all sides have suggested online and in the media that it was planted. Ferdinand was asked about that in a polygraph examination on February 20th.
It was, did you plant the blanket in the tree? Did you place the blanket in the tree?
Sorry, guys. I should have scrolled up more there so you can see Haley. My my apologies.
Online and in the media that it was planted. Ferdinand was asked about that in a polygraph examination on February 20th.
It was, did you plant the blanket in the tree? Did you place the blanket in the tree? Did you put the blanket in the tree? And did you leave the blanket in the tree?
Ferdinand says she answered no to each question and was told at the end that she passed. In Canada, polygraph tests are used as an investigative tool and are not admissible in court. A number of people close to the children underwent polygraphs in the weeks and months immediately following the disappearance. Michelle Janice says police use polygraphs to help shape interviews and narrow down suspect pools. But she says conducting a second round of polygraphs could mean the RCMP have exhausted all of their immediate leads.
The best thing to do when you have we're now at a long-term missing persons case would be to go back from the beginning and start over and with fresh eyes, and look for anything that they might have missed before. So to me, it sounds like that's what's happening.
RCMP declined a request for an interview, but confirmed in an email that more polygraph examinations have taken place. The force also confirmed the blanket remains at the RCMP National Forensic Lab. The children's mother, Malaya Brooks Murray, confirmed to CBC News that she underwent a second polygraph test and passed. The children's stepfather, Daniel Martel, did not respond to a request for comment. For Ferdinand, her polygraph was simply another box to tick in the pursuit of finding out what happened to Jack and Lily.
It hurts the longer time goes. It's, we just want answers and we want Lily and Jack home, but we don't have that. So every day is just another day until we get those answers.
Ali Thompson, CBC News, Halifax.
So, what do you think? Do you think they're doing another round to,
You wanna bring us back up on screen?
yeah, I'm trying to find that button. There we
Oh,
go.
there we go.
I was like, how
Um,
do I do that again? Oh my.
I I disagree with that woman. I
Mm.
agree with, School
Allie.
J. I think that maybe they are going back to the beginning, but I don't think they've exhausted all leads. I think this is a process of elimination to prove different theories wrong, to eliminate theories. And I feel like they are doing that currently.
And that's where my thoughts are as well. And I believe that that is why is her what was her name? Peggy in Idaho, or she was on Hidden in the Fog, somebody
Yeah,
who called in a yeah, and I think that's why they went back to those tips. They're going over everything.
yeah,
And and I half wonder as well. Ginger and I were talking about this, my one of my mods, um, and yeah, I think, and Ginger said that as well. We both agreed that, they are going over everything back from the beginning. And um, I half wonder if, they have to make sure too that nobody is trying to intentionally uh, derail things and put misleading information out there, because if someone is, then they have to connect as to why, right? What's the reason for doing that, right? Um, because there could be a not so good reason. And um, when she was saying that, uh, well, they kept saying it doesn't say it's a Hotel 8 or whatever, right? They were, you know, kind of questioning what she was telling them.
mm,
To me, that's in part because they have to understand, are you trying to mislead them? And if you are, why? Why would you be trying to mislead an investigation, right? Are you
yeah,
doing this under the guise of somebody else for a particular reason? And I'm not saying that's what she was doing. I actually think she was sincere in what she her tip and everything. I do believe she was sincere. I don't believe it has anything to do with
yeah.
Lily and Jack, in my opinion.
No,
And we could go on and on and on forever as to why
yeah,
certain things, you can
yeah,
pick out of that audio. We won't go
yeah.
there, but yeah, I totally agree. And that's part of the reason why as well that they cycle different investigators in these investigations. It's not always the same team, right? It's
Mhm.
team in, team out, team in, team out. It's fresh eyes. You'll have ones part of the team that'll go right back to the beginning and do what's being done here. You'll have part of the team that's doing this part with the polys and for a particular reason. And I think it's just as you and I discussed, in my opinion, weed out the BSer and then, have that real hard conversation with them, right? None of the pussyfooting around.
Yeah, definitely,
you know.
definitely. I
Yeah.
think that although polygraphs are not admissible, they are an investigative tool, and it gives investigators an outlook on who is likely being truthful, along with um, other investigative avenues like phone records, GPS location devices, and camera, like anything caught on footage. So when combining all of those things, they will get a clearer picture, right? Um, so I think that this is just it's a process. It's a process
Yeah.
of a investigation on two missing children with all things on the table. So in order to eliminate things, they have to do it the right way. And as impatient as we all are, these things take time
Mhm.
and they need permissions and, you know, warrants of some sort. And it just doesn't happen overnight. And unfortunately, this is what it looks like, painstakingly time
Yeah.
consuming. And yeah, I just think with the purposeful misinformation that's been put out there, it really has hindered the investigation in some ways. Like, as we've all discussed, every every tip needs to be investigated, assigned an officer to follow up, and if you have, 400 people saying, "Oh, Hayden and Haley planted that blanket, and they were there at this time and not this time," then that's all things that need to be um, investigated. And I believe, through my conversations with various people, that the RCMP are investigating thoroughly every single aspect of this case: who was where, when, with whom, what they were driving, what they were wearing, who they were talking to. Like, I do not believe that they are leaving any stones uncovered at this point.
Yeah. I agree. And hello to Belinda and Chelsea in the chat. Um, Belinda, I know you said, in my opinion, does that include part about Malaya will do an interview? Or are you just saying, in your opinion, now that time has passed, she'll do an interview? Or um, I just wanted to clarify that. Or are you saying you actually heard she's doing an interview, and then what you stated after that was in your opinion? Um, and hello, beautiful Chelsea. Um, once I went to help search and seen the home and surroundings, I thought the children possibly were outside sooner than thought. That I think about that as well, Chelsea. Um, yeah, even possibly the night before. Um, that they may have been left outside. This is when I started thinking abducted. This was before MBM interview. Yeah, yeah. I think that's definitely a possible theory as well, for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
I
enough
agree.
enough
Enough
time
time has
has
passed.
passed, in my opinion. Okay,
It's
I
yeah,
gotcha.
enough time has passed, and I think the truth is unraveling. And
Yeah.
with these new polygraphs coming out, I find it interesting that Daniel has stopped speaking since those charges were laid. And he was the one that had said he would always keep the children's names out there, and that he was basically the voice for Jack and Lily, and that if anything had started to go quiet, that he would start leaking information. But he's been pretty quiet since, I'm going to say, mid-January. So we're going on 8 weeks of silence from that side, and nobody seems to have a problem. Well, some people don't seem to have a problem with his silence.
Right. Yeah, yeah. Belinda believes, say it backwards. Um, yeah, that'll help you out. Uh, yeah, somebody said there, who was it? I missed who it was. I believe those charges shook Daniel. I would definitely agree with that, for sure. Mama Angie. I think those charges shook Daniel. Yes, yes. And he'd be advised now as well not to talk, not to speak. He should have been advised that a long time ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if he hadn't, we wouldn't have had all of the video and audio to analyze to get us to where
Oh,
we are now.
well,
And,
yeah.
you know, it's the old give someone enough rope. And
Watch them slowly hang themselves.
mm, Yeah.
Yeah. Torturous process for everyone involved.
Yes.
Yes. All right, let's go back over to this. And I guess I got to open it back up, don't I? You know, when you stop doing this and you come back to it, well, for me, you really forget everything.
You're doing fine. I'm just reading the chat, being nosy.
I'll play the audio, give us a little our voices a little break.
Yeah.
Second round of polygraphs conducted in disappearance of NS children. Jack and Lily Sullivan were reported missing on May 2, 2025. Ali Thompson, CBC News, posted, March 11, 2026, 5 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Nova Scotia RCMP have conducted a second round of polygraph examinations in the disappearance of Jack and Lily Sullivan, with 2 of those tests focused on one of the only pieces of physical evidence in the case, a light pink blanket found hanging in a tree. Lily, 6, and Jack, then 4, were reported missing on the morning of May 2, 2025, from Lansdowne, NS, a sparsely populated area about 140 kilometers northeast of Halifax. Their disappearance sparked a massive grid search of the thick woods surrounding their home, where they lived with their mother, Malihia Brooks Murray, stepfather, Daniel Martel, and their younger sister. A piece of Lily's blanket, found on the first day of the search tangled in a tree's twigs, has been the subject of much speculation, fueled by a lack of answers in the case. Watch family member who found pink blanket was asked about it during polygraph. Family members on all sides have suggested online and in media interviews that it was planted. Haley Ferdinand, Brooks Murray's stepsister, was one of the people who came upon the piece of tattered blanket off Lansdowne Station Road, a kilometer from the children's home, as they scoured for Jack and Lily alongside dozens of search and rescue members. We went down one side of the road and came back up the other, said Ferdinand, adding that Brooks Murray's half-brother, Hayden Murray Smith, was with her at the time. We came back up the other side and all of a sudden there was this pink thing in the tree. Ferdinand said it was intertwined in branches roughly a meter off the ground. She described its position as odd. Emotions were very high that day already, and sure enough, we sent the picture to Malihia and she ID'd it as being Lily's, said Ferdinand in a recent interview at her home outside Truro, Nova Scotia. It was just very emotional to see. Ferdinand said she was asked 4 questions during a polygraph examination on February 20. Did you plant the blanket in the tree? Did you place the blanket in the tree? Did you put the blanket in the tree? Did you leave the blanket in the tree? She said she responded no to each question, and at the end, she was told she passed the examination. Hayden Murray Smith confirmed to CBC News that he was asked the same 4 questions during a polygraph examination on February 19. He said he responded no to each question, and was told by the examiner at the end that he passed. RCMP declined a request for an interview, but confirmed in an email that more polygraph examinations have taken place as part of an extensive investigation being led by Major Crimes. The Mounties also confirmed the blanket, one of 2 pieces of physical evidence in the case that the public is aware of, is still at the RCMP lab for forensic examination. The second piece is a boot print consistent with Lily's foot size found on the pipeline trail near the family home. In Canada, polygraph tests are used as an investigative tool and are not admissible in court. Michelle Genies, an associate professor in the Criminal Justice Department at the University of Louisiana at Lafayette, said police conduct polygraphs to help shape interviews, narrow down suspect pools and to guide who they should be speaking with as part of an investigation. Genies, whose areas of expertise include best practices for recovering missing persons, said she feels the fact that police are conducting a second round of polygraphs signals that RCMP have exhausted all immediate leads. The best thing to do when you have a long-term missing persons case would be to go back from the beginning and start over and with fresh eyes and look for anything that they might have missed before, said Genies, who has been following the case closely. It is absolutely concerning that the investigation has gone on for this long and we still have no recovery. All missing persons cases are usually resolved very quickly. So this in and of itself is very abnormal and concerning. Details about the blanket's discovery are laid out in search warrant applications sought by RCMP early in the investigation. The document said the blanket was discovered around 4 p.m. on May 2, 2025, and police dogs were brought to the location, but no scent was picked up. 2 days later, another piece of the same blanket was seized from inside a trash bag at the end of the driveway at the children's home, said the documents, which lay out an officer's summary of the investigation to that point. Martel had been using the blanket to stop a draft from a door, it said. About a week before the disappearance, Brooks Murray took it from the door because the weather was getting nicer and she threw it in the garbage. There was already a piece missing from it when she did that because Daniel ripped it off when he put it up, the document said, summarizing Brooks Murray's statement to police. Martel told CBC News in a January interview that he had voluntarily provided a DNA sample to investigators the month prior. He said it was his understanding that his DNA was taken in connection with the blanket, but RCMP have not confirmed that. According to the court documents, a number of people underwent polygraphs in the weeks and months immediately following the disappearance, including Martel and Brooks Murray. Ferdinand and Murray Smith were not polygraphed during the first round of tests. Another task to complete. Martel previously told CBC News that all the questions he was asked during his first polygraph were presumptive that the children were no longer alive, such as, "Did you kill Lily and Jack?" Martel did not respond to a request for comment from CBC News on the second round of polygraphs. Brooks Murray confirmed to CBC News that she has undergone a second polygraph examination and that she was told she passed. She would not elaborate on the questions she was asked. During an interview in January, RCMP Staff Sergeant Rob McCommon said there were a number of different areas investigators were following up on in connection with the blanket. "We'll make decisions on that once we have all that we need, but right now we're not in a position to really comment on that." For Ferdinand, her polygraph was simply another box to tick. "I knew that I went into the test being truthful and I knew my result was going to be truthful. So it was really just another normal day, another task to complete in the pursuit of finding out what happened to them," said Ferdinand, becoming emotional at times. "It hurts the longer time goes. We just want answers and we want Lily and Jack home." More top stories.
Okay. I want to go down and see exactly the part where they talk about the blanket. Oh, I'm probably muted. Nope.
No, you're
Um,
fine.
okay. I want to see what it is they're saying. They say there about the blanket. Uh,
Oh, thank you, Joyous.
or sorry, the boot print. A piece of Lily's blanket found on the first day in the search, tangled in the trees. Uh, The Mounties also confirmed the blanket, one of two pieces of physical evidence in the case that the public is aware of, is still at the RCMP lab for forensic examination. The second piece is a boot print, consistent with Lily's foot size, found on the pipeline trail near the family home. I still have questions about that boot print and the whole thing of they never talk about a boot print of Jack's.
No, I
And,
don't.
and then there's parts that I found where it states cluster of boot prints and one size larger than the other, or how was it worded? One size. It made it sound like Lily's were the smaller size, and then there was a larger boot print. That's what it stated. That's not what it made it sound like. That's
Yeah,
exactly what was stated.
it is.
And
I did try to get some clarification on the boot print, but I think that's something that maybe perhaps being withheld for a reason.
Yeah,
Um,
I believe, and that was always my thought, that there's something surrounding that boot and it's being held back.
mhm. I have a question actually. This
Yeah.
was something I was trying to, with regards to the boot print. Something I came across today. I am curious in the chat and yourself, where did the information come out that the person that Janie ran into on on the trail that she had run into, if you recall before, she had said that she was out and she ran into someone on a four-wheeler with a kid on the back. And then it sort of morphed into that person was the bus driver's wife with their child on the back, and that child could have got off the four-wheeler to go pee or something like that. I am wondering how and where that developed. I'm curious to know how and when that developed. If anyone in the chat has insight to that, um, I would like some receipts if possible, because I recall hearing it. I recall seeing something about it, but I don't have it in black and white, and I really would like to see it in black and white. If anyone out there remembers this, I would appreciate it.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat as you. I
Mhm.
know it was discussed, it was being stated, where exactly it came from, I honestly can't
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah, I don't think that it's necessarily attributed to them, the boot prints per se, that's not what I was getting at, but I wanna know where that information came from,
It's in the documents, court documents. It's stated in there. It is stated in there.
that it was the bus driver's
Um,
wife that was on the
no, no, no,
four-wheeler?
no, no, no,
Okay,
no, no. No, that I have no idea where that ever came from. No.
yeah,
Um, and it's not anything I ever really focused on who it was or, uh, but, uh, so I don't know where that ever came from. But no, about the,
right?
someone with the child and getting off
Yeah.
of the ATV and blah, blah, blah. That is in the court document. Um, yeah, and
Fool
I
J
can't
is saying
remember.
it was DT that said that. I'm just,
Okay.
she did talk about it in her voice messages in Lana's chat. She said she was talking to her when she missed Malaya's calls. Yes, that's what I recall.
Yes. Yeah,
But
I remember that as well.
so she couldn't answer Malaya's call because she was talking to this woman on the four-wheeler, with her kid
Yeah.
on the back, and that's why she didn't answer the calls. But
But
I
she
am
didn't
trying
state where that the child got
no,
off or anything like that. That is in the documents where it's stated about that.
no, and
And
again, I'm not attributing that to, the boot prints in any way, but I want to know where that information came from. Did it come
Mhm.
from Janie or did it come from someone else? Um, the context of that particular conversation, because uh, I just I'm not sure that it was the bus driver's wife that had a child on the back of her four-wheeler. So mm, I would just looking for receipts. You got my email. You
Yeah.
know me on Facebook. So if you have something, send it to me, please, and thank you.
Yeah, because at first, it was being stated that it was, Haley or Cheryl brought one of their children or something like that,
Yeah.
and then that
Cheryl had
was,
had her niece and nephew there.
yeah, and then that
Yeah.
was, no, absolutely not. The kids were not up in the searching, and, so that was like kiboshed, and then it went from that to the story of it being the bus driver's wife, the bus driver and his wife's child, or his wife's child, or whatever. So,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and where it stems from, I don't know.
Mhm.
I do not know.
Yeah. Just looking for context on that. Again, not attributed to the boot prints per se, but just attributing it to Janie's reason for not answering the phone calls. I'd like to verify that it was because she was talking to the bus driver's wife. That's all.
Mm, yeah, yep. Vicky Palmer, thank you very much for both chats. So she came to mine and she went to yours. Thank you very much to both of those. Cindy, oh, these are some comments that I highlighted, but that we can just, I was just kind of, as the
Yeah.
discussion was going,
With regards to
and joyous, thank you.
Cindy's comment,
Yeah, I'll put that
I
back
had
up.
thought that initially as well, like, why would they just ask the 4 questions? But they've are
Yeah,
clearly trying to eliminate one particular narrative, right?
exactly.
And they can't ask 100 questions in a polygraph. They are trying to get a baseline, an accurate baseline for the truth. So that is why they ask the same question in multiple ways, right? So it's strategic, um, and there's a reason why they do that. Um, and who's to say that he wouldn't be brought in for another one? Um, But this is to eliminate who planted the blanket, in my opinion. And I think my opinion is if the blanket is planted, whoever planted the blanket is responsible for the children disappearing. So,
Exactly. So one thing leads to another, right? I know it was just focused on the blanket.
mhm,
It's a technique. It's just a technique. It's a technique that they use so that they can. It's going to lead them to the next phase of that
mhm,
technique. You know, uh, hopefully those results. And not even so much the results, because to me, a polygraph, it's a technique no different than if they were taking them in there to interview them, right?
yep,
I don't want to use the word interrogation, but it's an interview technique, no different, um, to lead them to the next thing that they need to do, which is single out who that is and then pounce on them.
mhm,
Is my way of putting it.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So,
It did always interest
and
me, as well. Somebody just made a valid point that, polygraphs are a tool, in an investigation,
exactly.
and interviewing people is, a tool in the investigation. And, I know that people think that I'm just a Malaya simp, but that's fine. But what I don't understand is the silence that comes from others, isn't, isn't scrutinized as much as Malaya's silence. We have, people like Justin, Martell, who was, at the search, likely very soon after the children were went missing. There's reports that he may or may not have been in some vehicle, around 10:30 a.m. that morning, and he's been he's been silent. Not a word, not a Facebook post, not a comment, nothing on social media, nothing to mainstream media, and no one really openly questions that at all. His silence, anyway.
Yeah. Um, Hi, hon. Hubby's waving to me. Um,
Hi, Nova's
yeah, so
hubby.
Ginger says, very interesting about the blueprint on the pipeline trail being brought up again. Yeah, and that's why I wanted to look to see exactly what it said. Um, that'll always be a point of interest for me. You know, but here's my thought. If that, by now, if that was true, that another child was up there, hopped off a bike, um, to, you know, use the bathroom, whatever, um, I'm sure that would be ruled out by now. That would
Yeah.
not be considered a piece of evidence.
No,
That
I
that
agree.
yeah,
I
that would be
agree. I
scratched off the list.
Yeah, I
So for
agree.
me, I don't even go there that belongs to another child
Mhm.
because it wouldn't be an evidence. That would have been figured out a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And from
they're not
someone
gonna
who
keep
was
something in evidence when they don't have to.
after speaking to some people that were at the search, the only children that were there were Cheryl's niece and nephew that she had brought, hoping that if Jack and Lily were hiding, that if they heard the children calling for them, that they'd want to come out and uh, play. And they didn't go on the pipeline. So,
Yes. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, like, that would be
mhm,
figured out, right? So, I mean, the
yeah,
RCMP would have had those conversations. Well, where
yeah,
were the kids up there searching? No.
mhm,
End of story with that.
yeah.
Did your child get off the bike and use the bathroom here? No. It wouldn't, or if yes, then it would probably not be there in evidence. Well, yeah, and it was right there. It was right here where we got off. You'd see the bike tracks. You'd see, you know, that would be over and done with. Yeah. My thoughts and my opinion, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I don't know, but it's a thought. Um,
Well, somebody is saying about Justin's silence, and I just think, well, Justin is Daniel's brother. You would think that he'd want to advocate for him in some way, to put in a good word, something like that. That's all. I mean, if my sister was up to her neck in something I didn't think that she had anything to do with, I'd be there with a loudspeaker.
hmm,
So
interesting, eh?
that's what I would be like. Okay.
Yep. Daphne. Hello, Daphne. In my opinion, if they found who planted the blanket, they find who took or did something nefarious with Jack and Lily. Exactly. Exactly. Um, yeah. Just peachy, thanks. It just is not immediate that results are resolved in polygraphs. Takes a bit of time to see patterns for certain. Yeah. Yeah, again,
Yeah.
investigative tool, right? Yeah.
Mm.
Daphne, so whose piece of the blanket somehow got removed from the trash? There was no blanket removed from the trash. It was already hanging on the back doorstep, but Daniel gave his elaborate story of it being removed from the trash, and in my opinion, punched his own fist through the bag. Uh,
Justin was there
yeah,
when this was filmed, so that was why I was
right.
just curious as to why, you know, he hasn't said much, that's all.
Yeah. And
He was the one that yeah.
remember Daniel ran out because he thought a piece of the pink blanket.
Mhm.
There's things I'll never forget. Justin from Clutch Them Pearls, and Daniel thought a piece of the pink blanket, and ran out
Mhm.
to check that bag. Well, in my opinion, that's probably when he punched his big fist through the bag.
Yeah.
And then had Justin come out and videotape. Like and this is all in my opinion, guys. It's in my
Mhm.
opinion. I'm not saying that's what happened. It's just where my mind goes. And I've learned from listening to everything of Daniel's many a times. He's very preemptive in the things that he states. Um, and that was one whole thing that I just caught right on to with all the preemptive stuff with him and always believe that no, it was on the back doorstep, just like Cheryl stated. This whole in the garbage and then it went from that to the big fist punch through a bag and blah blah blah. And no, no,
Yeah.
it was all
Yeah.
BS in my opinion.
Mhm.
Well, we know now it was because he says, yeah, it was on the back doorstep. Yeah, so Belinda, that's interesting story. Go ahead, Shan.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
Interesting. She says, when my son was polygraphed, he was never asked if he passed. He was never he never asked if he passed. They never said that. They just said they had no further reason to contact him. So there you go. Hmm.
I mean, it's
So I guess
possible that she's not being verbatim, but
yeah, I guess people are assuming because we have no reason to contact you any further, that's a pass, I guess. I don't know.
yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah. Um, whoops. Trying to get back to the live chat. Um, Now, I wonder if there was any other articles that come out since this one. I didn't check to see.
2
Why
pieces,
did
The
it
Hustler,
say the documents then literally that the RCMP collected it from the trash? So did
the
they
second
put it
piece.
in? Oh, no, no. So there's one blanket, and that one blanket there was a piece of it torn off. Okay? So, the bigger piece of the blanket was thrown in a garbage bag. The other piece was hanging on the back doorstep. And the piece that was in the garbage bag uh, went out front in a garbage bin to be for collection day and was in like a garbage box, right? That you have a lid on and you put your garbage in it until the garbage truck comes. Um, Well, Daniel, first Daniel denied the blanket was Lily's, and that's in a news article. His quoted out of his mouth that blanket was not Lily's. And then these were the things that all of us following it right from the beginning started to catch on to. That okay, you read one article and he's stating no, that's not Lily's blanket, and then 2 or 3 more articles down the road he's saying it is Lily's blanket, or he's online saying it's Lily's blanket. And then you're going, well, wait a minute. And this is where things kind of started with Daniel. I think that was one of the first things that stood out was to be a contradiction or a lie, whatever you want to call it. Um, so that's how it started off. And then it went from that to, well, somebody stole it out of his garbage. Somebody stole it out of his garbage, pulled it off that piece of blanket that was in the garbage, and planted it in the tree. And that's quotes from Daniel. That's Daniel Martell saying that. Um, then Cheryl, who was there at the search, had stated that she was told that the blanket was hanging over the back doorstep, the rail on the back doorstep, which you would take as, well, Malaya must have told her that because that's her friend and that's why she was there. Um, so you can presume, well, okay, Malaya told her that. Um, Daniel stated that wasn't true. His cousin, not true. It was in the bag and torn off. And then eventually, Daniel admit it, after he was on the DT show and went into this big, long, elaborate, story of, how it was in that garbage bag and someone punched a fist-sized hole through the bag and pulled it out and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
Anyways,
and it was a clear
he
bag
did
and
it.
they would have seen it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, just this big dramatic story.
yeah,
Um, and then he did admit that, yeah, it was hanging on the back doorstep. But that's what it's been like this whole time in this case with him. Um, so, no, it was never in the garbage bag. It was the other piece hanging on the back of the doorstep, and the other piece was in the garbage bag. That was all made up, fictional, that anybody ever went to that bag and pulled anything out of it, ever. The only person that went to that bag was Daniel.
yes.
Yeah.
And it was also mm, around the same time that when he came out on DT to talk about that blanket, where he introduced the theory of another blanket that had been laid out on on the ground, as well with the water bottles. Um, so again, I felt like that was just a bit more of distraction from this piece of blanket.
Yeah,
Um, when he said, "Oh,
absolutely.
which blanket?" Like there's all of these
Oh,
blankets and
yes, yes,
lansdowne
yes,
drapes all over
pink.
the place.
Yeah, pink at that. Uh, Sarah, it wasn't the piece that was in the garbage. It's the piece that was on the back doorstep that went missing that would be in the tree. The piece that was in the garbage, uh, Daniel Daniel tried to make it sound like, "Oh, that was in the garbage, and someone went in the garbage and ripped a piece off." Um, but no, that was never the case. It was always the piece on the back doorstep. And by the way, it was Daniel who tore that small piece off the blanket.
Mhm.
So it's not like he wouldn't know that there's another piece. It was him who tore it off. So, um, no, the piece that was in the garbage was still in the garbage. And his brother took pictures of it in the garbage. But to me, the only reason why Daniel wouldn't just admit that there was a piece on the back doorstep, in my opinion, is because he's the one who took it, right? There's a reason why people tell lies. um, and how do you, because the other piece was still in the garbage.
Yeah.
The other, the other piece of the blanket was still in the garbage. Hmm. Yep, and the RCMP have stated that, and they've stated that that other piece matches that where it was torn off. They've stated that, the RCMP themselves. So, I mean, it's just, if the piece is still in the in the garbage and the other piece matches where that was torn off, then obviously it has to be the piece that was on the back doorstep. Um,
And also all of those things, can be true, Daphne. So Malaya threw one piece away, but Daniel made the story up about Janie,
oh,
saying not to
right,
fill up
yeah.
the bag. So Malaya could have Malaya said she put it in the house garbage. And Daniel said that he would put everything in an industrial sized bag. So he would take multiple bags of garbage from the
Mhm.
household and put it in the industrial bag. And Janie could have said to him, "Don't put too many bags or too much stuff in the industrial bag, or the garbage man won't take it. It'll be too heavy." So all of those things can all be true at the same time.
Yeah,
If you see
and
what I'm
and that's
saying.
how yeah, and that's how I pictured it in my head as well, only
Mhm.
because that's how I used to have the smaller bags that would go in the can because you couldn't put
Yep.
those great big ones in it, and then as
Same
they
here.
filled up, I'd put yeah, so,
Yep.
and I guess that's just 'cause how most of us do our garbage around here, we could picture in our head, what happened there, that,
Yep.
yeah, he probably put those in that big bag, took it out to the curb, right?
Yes.
And Janie would be saying that, in other words, like, pull one of those bags out, not so much pull the blanket out, but, yeah. Doesn't make sense. The piece on the doorstep and the piece in the tree can't be the same. How not? I don't know how it wouldn't make sense.
Blanket. Yes. So the blanket was ripped into by Daniel. One was put over the window and one was used as a draft excluder. The one for the draft excluder was put into the garbage in the household garbage and then put in a larger bag and put out at the end of the road. The second piece was taken off of the window and put onto the railing out the back. And it somehow, allegedly, ended up in the tree. Yes. And it was replaced.
It's
The window blanket is different than the like that we've seen because we've seen pictures going around of a pink blanket in the window, right? That was obviously a different blanket that was put up in that window. It was all pink and it didn't match the LOL blanket.
right,
So
exactly. It is in the documents, Chelsea. It does say that, Daniel ripped a piece off in the documents, and I believe it was Malaya that said that in the documents, so now whether she's not telling the truth or not about him being the one to rip it off, but I don't no, I don't think any that would be
yes, and we
not
don't know
not
what
true because
yeah, we don't know
it
what
doesn't
time
really
the blanket was seen on. It wasn't the doorstep, it was the railing.
the
Um,
railing, yeah.
yes, and we don't know what time it was seen there. We just know that Cheryl said on Hidden in the Fog that she was told that the blanket was on the railing. So if she was told it was on the
Yeah.
railing, we can speculate and use some deductive reasoning that it would have been Malaya that told her that that blanket was on the railing. I mean,
Yeah.
that's basically what we're trying to say here. Um, so she had put a piece in the garbage, and then there was a piece on the railing, and one was still in the garbage, and the piece from the railing ended up in the tree.
Yep.
But in the grand scheme of things, where the blankets were initially isn't as important as how they ended up where they are or were when they were found. Um, and we know that that area was searched. Um, the bus driver even went up and down the road a couple of times in his bus when he found out the children were missing. And the blanket wasn't found in the tree until 3:48 p.m. on that Friday. So it is unusual. It's very unusual.
Yeah. Um, I've never seen that photo. The photo of the blanket on the railing. Does anyone have it and know exactly when it was taken? I have never seen a photo
No.
of that. I've heard people say, look, look at that photo. You can see the blanket on the railing. And I look and I don't see anything on the railing. I don't like, seriously, I don't see it. So, but I've seen that written, people saying that. Have you ever
Mhm.
seen that, Shan?
I've never seen a
I've
photo of the blanket on the railing. Nope. I've never
no.
seen a photo of the footprints on or boot prints on the um, pipeline either. So,
Right.
I think these are relevant to the investigation in that there's not a lot of information being given out about them, right? Um, so I think we have to put trust in the RCMP that there's a reason why there's limited information about these things. Um, And yeah, I think once we find out more about the boot prints, um, how many were cast, for example, what sizes were cast, was it just one boot print that they were able to isolate, or was there more? I mean, just because that's what we're reading doesn't necessarily mean that that's what happens, you
Yeah,
know?
exactly, exactly.
So,
So quite a few people are saying, I remember seeing the picture of the blanket on the railing very early in the case. I'm sure Justin showed it on his live. Well, of course, my memory. I don't remember that, but I'll go back and see if I can
yeah.
find it. I will do that. Um, because it's important if that's so that it's still there because that would have to be after the children went missing because unless was a picture prior to them going missing, which I doubt, um, it would be after Lily and Jack went missing, but
Mhm.
I don't ever recall seeing that. Like I said, I remember people talking about it, and I would
Yeah, I don't
focus in and
recall
maybe
seeing
that
it.
was from Justin's, but I'd
Yeah,
look in and I'd make it bigger, and I couldn't see a blanket, so it was just kinda like, "I don't know what they're seeing, but I'm not seeing it."
yeah.
Um,
No, I would, Daphne's case files, if you don't mind reaching out to Justin, just ask him if he had that. I'd be curious. Um, but somebody also made another valid point, that there's no mention of the boot print that Janie is so emphatic over being on the
oh,
driveway,
I
you
just
know?
pulled that up. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Ginger. Yeah, so I think I talked about that in my last live because that always got to me. I remember sending Daphne this great big long text about it that this just goes to show you how. Because I'd always say like their thinking to me is so delusional. It's like not, none of it is fact or truth, but they will stand there until they're blue in the face and tell you, "This is fact. This is how it is. This is what you are to listen to
This is where
and
it
to follow
happened.
suit." Yeah, and it didn't. So, in that CBC interview, where Janie shall we pull it up? Let's pull it up, shall we? You entertain while I find it. It won't take long.
I can do that.
I'll be
I can
I'll
entertain.
be right back.
Okay. Um, yeah, that was one of the things that occurred to me as well. I was really curious, Chicken Whisperer, whether there were four-wheeler tracks close to the boot prints, what the different sizes of boot prints were there. Was it just Lily's size, or was there, because there's no mention of anything that correlates with Jack's um, boot size. And, at one point there was even discussion of a um, bare footprint, as in a footprint with no shoe on. So, I mean, there's been a lot of discussion about the boot prints, and it's the only um, evidence besides the blanket that is really out there. Um, so it's really, again, probably being withheld for a reason. And the less information about it, it makes you think that there is some evidentiary value to it. Um, I find it interesting that there hasn't been any mention of DNA um, being taken from any other members, like Haley or Hayden or Cheryl or anyone else. So, and I'm curious why Daniel's DNA would be taken with regards to the disappearance of the children because he's not a blood relation. So, time will tell. Um, Someone was telling me as well that where the boot prints were found, due to the location of it, due to the surrounding area, it is possible that um, had the ground search and rescue not gone much further than the boot prints, that they didn't find any because of the surrounding area around where the boot prints were found. So, I think it's important that unless you've actually been out on the terrain and been there in that exact location, that we shouldn't necessarily presume. Um, but I'm hoping that with the next search, there'll be some more questions answered. So, yeah, I agree, Damien. They wouldn't have sent ground search and rescue back to search specifically in the area of the boot prints if the RCMP believed they were planted. Yeah. Seaweed has
Yes,
been there. What do you
absolutely.
think, Seaweed? What are you saying, my darling? DNA
That's
can
right.
be taken to exclude, hopefully, individuals who had contact with the victims. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll bring up the poster too for the search that's coming up in April, just as a reminder, and put that information out there. And one thing I remember, and I had written down from when Nick Aldridge was on. Was he ever on with you? Was it you or Charmaine?
He was on with Charmaine. I didn't get the privilege, unfortunately, but I got
Okay.
Damien, so this is good.
Yeah. And he had stated that what they would be focusing on when they go back in the spring are going to be all those pathways that uh, go in through the woods. That's going to be a big focus for them in this search. Just to let
I hope
everybody
so.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he said, the waterways have been thoroughly everything has been thoroughly done. And of course, those
Mhm.
pathways would have been as well, obviously. Um, but he wants to thoroughly go through those pathways again because of how children of that age, so children of that age and elderly with dementia type illnesses, um, of course, they like the wide open space. They're linear, and anytime they take a turn would be only onto a path to continue linear again as well,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so to him, that is a point of interest, whereas last time in discussion with our CMP, the waterways were suggested by our CMP and became a point of interest, and that's why they stuck to the waterways. So yeah, so I will bring that up after the poster with the information on it. After we review Ms. Janey again and listened, we'll just do the whole thing. And
I'm
well, what time?
just
Oh,
gonna give
wait a
you a heads
minute.
up. I'm on like a
Yeah.
20-minute countdown. I've got maximum 20 minutes before I gotta be out of here.
Okay.
Just letting you know.
Um, Yeah, so I think this is 6 minutes long.
Okay.
So I'll let it play right up to the point where she gets to the driveway part with the boot print. 8 minutes.
So this is the patio
This is the
door
patio door
that Jack and Lily would have
that
came out
Jack
of.
and Lily came out of.
So it's the morning of May 2nd. Take me through what happened.
Okay, I was up at 6 o'clock, sat in there and had my tea. And then on Facebook, 7 o'clock, I get up, come over here, fed my chickens. My brother, Ron, called me at 8:48 and asked me if I wanted to go to town with him. And I said, no. I said, I'm staying home. I said, I'm going back to bed. Okay, I went and I laid down. Next thing you know, my dog started barking and the kids were out in the yard. Now you can see there's 2 swings where the kids play. My bedroom is right there. I heard the kids. This is where the kids' swings are. This is where they always played.
And so that's where...
That's where I heard them. And I can hear everything in that trailer. If 2 kids get out of a fence, and Jack and Lily are all the time yelling, especially Lily, come on, Jackie, let's go, Jackie, let's go, Jackie. It's all I hear out here. When the kids get out of the fence and come out through here, I would have heard them yelling, come on, Jackie, let's go, let's go. I didn't hear anything. The next thing I heard is I heard Daniel yelling. He was yelling for Jack and Lily. I didn't get up because I thought he was yelling for Jack and Lily to get in the house. So the next thing you know, I came out of the trailer after I heard Daniel, about, I'd say, 10 minutes after I heard him, I come out of the trailer. I opened up the door, was standing here. Malaya was standing right here with Meadow on her hip. And I come out and I said, what's up? She said, Jack and Lily are missing. I said, how long? She said, about 20 minutes. I closed the door, got my boots on, came out here, ran up in the woods. Just right up here. The kids have a little fort that they made out of sticks and fir branches, and that's where they go. You can see them and hear them. We went for walks in the woods. I had to practically carry Jack through the woods because there was no way that he was walking through all that tree falls and bushes. I did this whole area. There's an old road up back. When I got up to the top of the hill, I met Daniel. And I said to him, I said, did you find them? He said, no. He said, you coming with me? I said, no. I said, I'm going to search this area. Because when she told me the kids were missing, you automatically think they went into the woods. That was my first instinct. Mm-hmm. So I went up and I did this whole area, this whole wooded area, right up to the top of the dirt road, came back down here and came back down the side of the road, came back down here and came back up the same spot. I went back into the house. By the time the cops were here, I don't know exactly what time, I didn't take my phone. The cops were here. There was a bench sitting here, or a sawhorse, it's over there, was sitting here. I was sitting on it, bawling my eyes out. I was crying because I blame myself for not getting up that morning to see.
Yeah, so let's go see that.
Sure.
So this is the patio
This is the patio door
that,
Let's start
that
over.
Jack and Lily would have
that Jack and Lily came out of.
And so tell us why we've heard about the patio door.
Because everybody's saying on Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok that the patio door makes a noise. And why they didn't hear the door
It
open.
does.
The bedroom is back there. Okay?
That far window.
The
there.
last window is the bedroom.
And so they would have come out this door.
They would have come out this
that
door.
morning.
Yes.
And then they went and played on the swing set.
Yes.
And that's when you heard them.
That's when I heard them. Right here in this area here. I plan on putting a pool up this year for the kids. You need level ground for a pool. That's what I was doing. I was leveling out the ground to set up a pool.
And this is the Thursday.
This is Thursday.
Right.
Friday, all the investigators, search and rescue and everything. Right around here was where they found the only footprint.
This is where the boot.
This is where.
Okay. So that's the only boot print they found, guys. That's the story we're sticking to. It's the story Janie's telling, and it's the story we're all sticking to. Not. But listen to Allie try to correct her in such her sweet, sweet, sweet Allie voice. Tries to correct her. And Janie's telling her, no, that ain't the story we're going with. I'm telling you, the only boot found.
Where I was raking that night. That's where the boot print was found. In the mud where I was raking.
I thought there was two boot prints.
There was supposed to be a footprint found away up on the pipeline.
Right.
Malaya sent me the picture of it. That's all I know. There was a footprint found.
Okay.
But I'm telling you, the footprint was here. The only one that they can confirm that was Lilly&Jack's was right here.
So it was
got it?
child size.
Yes, a man, one of the investigators came in here and was measuring it all. Mm-hmm. I'm not here to lie. The reason why
not at all. Not at all. I'm not here to lie. I'm just here to make sure that you stick to the story I'm telling. Because it's the only one. Oh my goodness gracious. What do you think, Shan? Was it the only one? Can't hear you. Can't hear you. You're on mute.
Probably for the best.
Yeah. Come on now, tell us. Was the
He
only
certainly
one?
likes to direct the conversation in the
Oh,
way
yeah.
that she would like it to go. I would say she is very steadfast in her beliefs, and we definitely know she was raking, and there was a boot print found there, and
Mm,
she was going to put a pool there.
yep. Mm-hmm.
Because that's what I would
My
be thinking
goodness.
in a mud pit on May 2nd. But
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
perfect place for
Can
a
you
pool.
imagine? Yes, perfect. I wouldn't have picked anywhere else on that property but there.
No,
You
no.
know, can you
And
imagine?
I mean, if that's what she's like with a reporter that she's trying to convince of a story, imagine if she's when she's upset.
Yes, imagine taking a polygraph and this is how you want to answer the questions.
Yeah.
You know, how many boot prints were there found were found, Janie? One.
Right
I'm
here.
telling you. One right here. I don't care. I don't care
Yeah.
what anybody, I don't care what Malaya said, RCMP say. I don't care what the news is reporting. I don't
Yeah.
care about what ground search and rescue. I don't care about any of that. I'm telling
Yeah.
you. That's the thing that really got me because what I did was I printed this out and I read it. I actually read it. And when you read it, it's completely different than listening to it. And was reading it and I'm
Hmm.
listening to, reading Allie's response, but I thought there was the other blueprint and then Janie, but I'm telling you,
Hmm.
like, in other words, I don't care about any of that. I'm
Yeah.
telling you,
Yeah.
the only boot print was found right here. You
Yeah.
better get
Nothing
with
else.
it, lady. That's how
Yeah.
this works in Lansdowne.
Yeah. Nothing anybody else says matters. What I say is what
Mm-mm.
goes.
That's right.
That's the kind of vibe she gives off.
Right on.
I mean,
Yeah.
Darren did say she'd blow a hole through yeah if you got on the wrong side of her. So
Yes. I
he
kind
didn't
of believe
emphasize.
it.
Nope, not doing it. Not doing it.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, Anywho, yeah. So, there you go, Ginger.
Yeah. Do you know who
There's
I am? That's kind of the vibes you get. Don't you know who I am?
Yeah, exactly. That's like, hello, I'm Janie McKenzie, and the Mackenzies run this town. In case you didn't hear. And when I say
Yeah.
there was one boot print and it was right here, that's the story. Oh dear.
Yeah, that
And I
I
don't,
gotta get going. I've got 2
yeah.
minutes. 2-minute countdown. I
Well,
see what you're saying.
let's say good.
I was just gonna say I see what you're saying, Angus. It's um it's just difficult because this is what we have to work with. So um I know everyone, gets up in arms about that we, have a laugh and a joke at Janie's demeanor, but it is unusual. It is not what you would
Very.
expect from a grieving grandmother type scenario of two children that are missing. She is very much filled with rage and anger. And I guess we don't know ultimately what's happened with Jack and Lily, but it's just a very unusual response. It's not what you expect in this scenario. So um, it is just shocking, and that's what it does to people is you can't do anything other than laugh at it because it's so unbelievable. It is so uncharacteristic. It is so unexpected that you're taken aback by it, and it's a natural reaction to handle it this way because it is just not what you would expect. It's not what you would expect.
Yeah.
Um, and it doesn't make any sense either. The pool, the raking, it just doesn't add up, unfortunately. And you know, until we actually know what's happened, maybe some of this will start to fall into place. But there's a lot of red flags there, and if they hadn't have spoken with so much disdain in their voice, maybe we wouldn't feel this way.
Yep. And that's right, Daphne. That was a stock photo of I'm not sure if it's true yet that that was supposed to be a depiction of what was seen there or not. Um, because that's what I was told, was that it's not the real prints that were there, but it was supposed to depict what was seen there. Whether that is true or not, that's just rumor, so it's not even really worth talking about, but that is true. It's not like Malaya took a picture and sent it to Janie. But just the fact of Janie totally just brushing that off with the reporter and discounting it when by this time in this interview, RCMP already stated it, the uh, searchers, it was already in the media. Like that's why Allie knew that because Allie had printed stories about it. So yeah, but Janie was having none of that. And this isn't a laughing matter. You have to break it up with some humor because it's a horrible, horrible situation is what it is. Horrible. And I know I've cried lots of tears and I know Shan has as well. Um, and so, if you can break it up with a little humor in this situation that we just watched, that's where I'd rather kind of take a break and decompress, right? Um, Daphne says, okay, listen, the size and number on the print the searcher got from the pipeline matched the receipt. Exactly, yep. Of Malaya's from Walmart from buying
Mm,
Lily's boots. Yep. if that makes sense. Yeah. And I think she was trying to explain that to somebody else. But yes, exactly, Daphne. That's 100%. That's not rumor speculation. That's from the documents from the RCMP 100%. That was an RCMP that did all that investigative work and put that together. Yep. Yep. All righty. I believe it's time to say goodbye, guys. We're almost at quarter to or an hour and 45 minutes in. Thank you to you all for being here. Thanks for coming on together. Shan, I love
Thank you
you.
for
It's always a
having me.
pleasure.
Same.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks to all the mods for being here. And thank you to all the members. And thank you to all the subscribers. And thank you to all the viewers, even to the ones who like to stay in the bushes and lurk. That's okay. I used to be
Yeah.
a lurker too for a while.
Yeah. We do love
Um,
most of the lurking lizards.
Yes, we do. Usually the lurkers are pretty quiet, so
Hmm.
but they're pretty harmless. But
For the most part.
yeah, yeah, there's a small percentage we'd like to kick in the hind again, but for the
Mm.
most part, we love you all.
Yes.
Um, I will put up all the beautiful gifts, support to the channel, both channels. Thank you very much. And I'll play the little thank you tune to go along with it. And then I'll do the posters in the end, guys. If anybody wants to stay around and watch the missing posters and also unsolved crimes. I did have another live lined up for today, and I canceled it because this article come out. I'm hoping to come back on tomorrow where I already have material lined up and I'm working on a new intro. So fingers crossed for tomorrow. Okay.
Yes.
And then of course you guys know every weekend I have family here that come to visit every weekend. So weekends, unless they end up not coming, it's not my time to be on here. But all right. Thank you so much, Shan.
Thank
Uh,
you. I'll be
oh,
seeing you soon.
oh, all right. Thank you. Lots of love. Bye.
Okay.
And
Bye.
there is the join the search for Jack and Lily Sullivan. There's the information as well, guys. Um, yeah.
If you are willing and able, sign up.
Yes, please. Yeah.
All right. On
Best
that note,
best people to do it with. It's
yes.
their experience. So
Lots of love, guys. I'm running out this door because I'm running late because that's my middle name. That's what I do. I'm just late for everything. See
me
you
too.
later. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks again, everyone. Trying to find the song here. There it is.